Hi there, I'm Mike Gales for Fight Your Way Fit, and in this video I want to tell you guys all about why I love YouTube. First, let me say that I'm sorry I've been off for so long. I just had my second little boy 6 months ago, so I had two little guys that were under a year and a half, and I definitely had my hands full. And now for all of you fathers out there that find the time to do everything with kids, well, my hat is off to you because it is not easy. And I got the best two little guys in the world. They never cry, and they both have been sleeping through the night since they were about 6 weeks old. And I am still exhausted. So kudos to you if you're able to pull it off. And during that time that I was off, I was also trying to put together the best Patreon page that anybody's ever seen. At the same time, I also traveled to the US to work with some of the best app developers in the business so that I can create an iPhone app to go along with this channel. Hopefully that app is going to be ready in the Apple Store for this summer. So for all of you guys that are looking to get in great shape and have an interesting and fun way to do it, then definitely keep an eye out for those. And I'll leave links to those in the description below. And now for my first video back, I want to tell you guys exactly why I love YouTube and how you can perhaps use it to help you in your everyday life. Yet let me address this right away because you're gonna always hear YouTubers complaining about the negative atmosphere and so many negative comments. And yet that does happen, as this was one of my very first comments. And this comment was for the heavy bag for beginners, which is basically just introducing people to perhaps a new and fun way of getting fit. And now in the comments, this guy right here is literally threatening me and challenging me to a fight. And when I read this, I had to laugh and say, really? Let me get this straight. You want to fight me, somebody who you don't even know, because you didn't like the technique that I put into a video that was for free and it was designed to help people get into better shape. Wow, maybe you have just a little bit of work to do on yourself. Anyway, I'm still over 200 pounds and I've literally done hundreds and hundreds of rounds with some of the best fighters in both MMA and in boxing. And of course, I have nowhere near the talent of any of those guys, but I've also never been knocked down or never really hurt either. So you're probably not gonna throw me around like a rag doll. But most importantly, I don't wanna fight you. I don't wanna fight anybody. But what I wanna do is fight fat. And I wanna help all of you guys get into the greatest shape possible. But of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion. And I personally never remove comments, either good or bad, unless they have a racial or homophobic slur. Other than that, it's free game and I always leave them there. And you'll also notice that I try and answer almost all of the comments. But the trick is to leave me a new comment because that's the only one that gives me a notification right to my phone. Also, as far as the negative comments go, truthfully and honestly, those are so few and far between. And most of you guys have been just amazingly awesome. And for that, I just want to take a moment and say thank you. And so let's move on with this video because YouTube can be so amazingly incredible. It can actually be a game changer in your life. Because if you want to get in shape, well, then you can watch and learn from channels like mine. I first began to use the power of YouTube way back in the day when I was taking a calculus class in university. And I came across this guy from Khan's Academy. Now, this guy did such a better job at explaining the components to calculus than any of my professors did. In fact, I stopped going to class and just stayed home and watched his videos and saved myself a ton of time and aggravation. And now I've been out of university for years, but I still use YouTube for a whole bunch of everyday things. And I want to share with you guys some simple examples. I am a product of the foster care system. And when I grew up, I didn't have very much money. So I had to learn how to fix a lot of things myself and how to do it for cheap. And I pretty much learned how to fix almost anything with duct tape. And so learning back in the day involved a lot of trial and error. But now a simple YouTube search and I can quickly judge whether or not I can tackle the job myself. Like this, for example, I had an old beat up convertible Mustang and now somebody cut the roof with a knife and broke the rear windshield. And also the paint was chipped and it had seen way better days. And now the local body shop wanted over $1,000 just to repair the roof. And let me show you how YouTube saved the day. I bought the sailcloth, which is the fabric for the roof, off of eBay, and I think it cost me like 60 bucks. And I also bought the back glass off of Amazon. And instead of paying to have the car repaint, I also bought this flat black vinyl wrap off of Amazon. And now I watched a YouTube video on how to do everything. And it was really as simple as pressing play on my phone and then following along step by step with the videos. So just on this car alone, YouTube saved me a ton of money. And here's another one. I picked up this old jet ski, which is great to have in the summer. It gives you something to do on a hot day. And the carburetor needed cleaning and I had to change the impeller. So I ordered a carb rebuild kit off of Amazon. And again, I just followed along with some videos, and then when the summer came along, I was ready to go. And you're gonna see in many of my videos that I'm the type of guy that just likes to do stuff. And that could be from flying in planes to snowmobiling to skydiving, riding motorcycles, you name it. Yet I also have a very limited budget, and I always try to stretch every dollar. I also love to help out my friends wherever I can. So here on my buddy's bike, his clutch died and it was slipping badly. And this bike wasn't going anywhere. And now I had never done this before, but we were easily able to change the clutch discs just from watching a couple of videos on YouTube. And I'm a somewhat decent mechanic, but what is great about YouTube is that most of the times you can pull up the exact job that you're about to do and simply follow along. It makes it so much easier when you actually have a visual example. And even if you're not mechanically inclined, you're still able to get the job done. And in fact, sometimes YouTube makes you even better than some of the experts. And here is an amazing example. My father-in-law picked up this ATV for my son, and now he got a great deal on this because for whatever reason, it just wouldn't start. So my father-in-law just figured he would roll the dice and take it off the guy's hands and just see if he could fix it. He brought it over to the local ATV repair shop, and he was hoping that it wouldn't be too expensive. So the guys at the shop looked at it for about an hour, and they said, you know what? You see, this ATV is from China, and we're probably not gonna be able to fix it. So I told my father-in-law, you know what, just drop it off to me and I'll take a look. So I did a quick YouTube search, and I found this guy on YouTube explaining a very simple trick that he used to start these type of ATVs. Now this is what they call CDI, and you can basically think of it as the computer for the ATV. And now the YouTube video told me to bake it in the oven. Yes, bake it in the oven for like 10 minutes. I know that sounds crazy, right? Bake it in the oven for 10 minutes? But at this point I had nothing to lose, and so I thought I would give it a try. Also, this video had 700 likes and maybe 7 dislikes, and that tells me something. You see, you can tell how good a YouTube video is because you viewers are smart, and you guys let the viewers know whether the video is helpful or not by giving it a like or a dislike. And so just to give you an example, this video has 2.7 thousand likes and only 22 dislikes, so it's probably a good video. So like I said, this guy had a 93% like ratio. So I put that CDI in the oven. Well, that trick dried up all of the condensation that was trapped in that CDI box, preventing the electronics from starting the ATV. You see, what the previous owner didn't tell us was that the ATV was probably submerged at some point. So next I removed the carb, changed the spark plugs, and added a little shot of gas directly into the engine. And presto, it started up right away. After that, I gave it a simple tune-up. Since then, I've been taking my son on rides all the time. All that to say that the local shop couldn't fix it, but that guy on YouTube with the 93% like ratio had the answer. And it's not just for mechanical stuff. I use YouTube all of the time. I put up this trampoline in the spring, and it was a bit of a pain in the ass because I used pliers to attach all of the springs. So I watched this YouTube video on how to quickly take it down, where there the kid in the video said instead of using pliers, try using one of the springs from the trampoline itself to disassemble it. And you know what? That was such a great trick because by using that kid's advice, I had the whole trampoline down in just a matter of minutes. Here's another example. My wife bought this old property, and I think it dates back to the 1850s. And now this winter was extremely cold in Canada. And on one of the coldest days, of course, our hot water heater conked out. And so I tested it and discovered that the heating elements were finished. Now I knew it might take a few days and some extra money to get a plumber to come in and fix it. So I pulled up a YouTube video on exactly how to get this job done. And the video told me exactly step by step what I needed to do. So I went out that afternoon, bought a new tank, watched the video, and was easily able to install it, and no plumber needed. The video explained everything step by step, including how to solder the copper pipe. So voila presto, right here YouTube saved me hundreds of bucks. Not only that, but we had hot water that same day, and it's never leaked a drop. So yeah, I use YouTube a lot, and I'll leave you guys with one final example. Like I said, I've got kids now, and my older son just loves the bathtub and he loves water. And so I figured I better teach this kid how to swim. I looked on Facebook, and there on Facebook they have the marketplace where people sell things. And not only do they sell things, some people give stuff away for free. And so I searched and I found someone who was giving away a free pool. And I guess sometimes people are updating their yard. Or there's a situation like the people that gave me this pool, where they had grandkids and their grandkids moved off to France and they no longer needed the pool. So they gave me the pool, the pump, the filter, and everything that goes with it for free. Yep, for free. All I had to do was go there and disassemble it, which only took me a couple of hours, and take everything away with me. So the following spring, I took a weekend to put it all up. Now, I've never installed a pool before, but again, I watched a YouTube video, and it explained every single detail step by step, how to dig and prepare the grounds, how to make sure that everything was level. And yep, I think that was the hardest part, because there was about a 1.5 foot deviation with the ground where I was putting the pool. There were a few other videos explaining exactly how to put up the pool walls, even if you were all by yourself. There was yet another video that showed how to perfectly install a pool liner without having any wrinkles whatsoever. And now the trick there was to use a shop vac between the pool wall and the liner to suck up everything nice and tight as you install it. And now I never would have thought of that, but it worked absolutely flawlessly. It made installing the liner kind of easy. I watched one final video that explained exactly how to install a saltwater system instead of using chlorine. And so thank you, YouTube. And so to sum this part up, I got a free pool from the Facebook Marketplace, and I was able to install it myself for free. And so yep, YouTube can be pretty awesome because it is such a powerful tool to have a visual example right at your fingertips. Once again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to watch these videos, and I really do appreciate it. Until the next video, this has been Mike Gales for Fight Your Way Fit, where all of these videos are meant to get you into the absolute greatest shape possible.